My story with Star Wars is a little bit different than most other people's. Everybody, their first experience is always the movies, that kind of stuff. It was always different for me. My father worked all the time. He was never home. But when he was home, what we would do is we would go to these collectible conventions and toy shows and flea markets, stuff like that, and have fun buying and selling toys. And I said, I know a lot about this Star Wars stuff just from the toy point of view, and this is in 1993, 94. Now, I'm sure that I had seen the films, but that wasn't my first memory. My first memory was always the toys. So, we would always, I would be like, hey, let's buy this Millennium Falcon. I have these extra pieces at home, and I can complete this thing. And, I can flip it next weekend at this other convention that we're going to for, double. And he's like, are you sure? Like, yeah, I got it, trust me. So I remember that was my first memories.
What's my Star Wars story? Oh my goodness, goes back to about 1980. I was dating a young lady named Judy Anderson. And Judy's brother, worked in a movie theater, and I had never seen Star Wars. I'd never seen Star Wars, never saw Empire, never saw Jedi, and Judy's friend actually slipped us into a movie theater in Queens, New York, and we slipped into the back balcony, the top balcony, and watched Empire Strikes Back, and I was kind of sold on it from that point.
Hey, I talked to Josh on the phone. I was supposed to meet Josh.
Okay. No, just walk this way.
This way. Go ahead. Yeah. Hey Josh, I'm Steven. We talked on the phone.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, need to lighten my collection a little bit.
Running out of space, huh?
Yeah, well, I got to make room for some new stuff.
Well, that's how it usually goes. So what are we working with today? Let's see. So, before we even get started, are you selling or are you having these appraised?
Selling.
Perfect. Cool. So the way that this usually works is I'll just take a look at these. I have a very good idea of what they sell for in the store, and I will try to offer you as close to 50% of sales retail as possible. So let's get these all laid out, get these figured out. It's too bad he came off the car. That's a good figure, good set of figures. And if you didn't know, we got some of the actors here in the store that would have signed that. A lot of people come in and they expect this to take hours. Not around here, man. We can get this done in just a couple minutes for you.
Well, I heard you know your stuff.
Well, we've been in business for a long time, and you gotta be able to do this pretty quick. So, looks like you got a fairly diverse collection here. You have stuff from 1995, 1997, 2002, 96, all the way up to basically current. So, it seems like you have some interesting stuff at home. Usually you can tell by somebody's collection the kind of cool stuff that they keep. So, the Black Series figures are all going to range in that $20 to $25 range. So I'm just going to stack these up right here. The books we sell at $5 a piece retail. These guys sell right around $20 a piece, so I'm going to put these in the $20 stack retail. About the same on him. He's going to be right around $25. Loose figures, honestly, man, these would be better use for you just to keep if you have the space. If not, we put them in our 3 for $10 bin for the kiddos to play with. So while they are good figures, most of the value is still in the package. It's another probably $20 piece. This guy here, really awesome piece. One of the first, well, I'm sure you know, but one of the first Jango Fett action figures, and this is the pilot variation with the cut on his cheek after they fought on Kamino with Obi-Wan. So this guy, well, what was that? This is about 15. This guy's about 15, and I don't know if you were aware, there's a variant of this figure where instead of having the green stripe, or instead of having the red stripes, he has green stripes. And that is an official action figure variant. So if you don't have that one at home, I'm sure we have some over there on the shelf for you.
Wow.
And then a really cool ATTE tank gunner, and I'm sure we have an ATTE over there on the shelf if you don't have that as well. So what I'm going to do is these are all $15 figures. I'm going to put these separately. These are all $20 figures. $20 or so pieces, so 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, 180. And then these are about $15 a piece. So you're looking at 180 plus 45 is $225. And then we pay about $2 a piece on these. Call it $230 total. And that would be right around retail. So you're looking at about $115 in cash, or I can offer you 30% more than that in store credit.
I think that's fair.
Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so joining me right now is Mike.
Mike? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's your
No.
name. Mike.
No.
And also Mike, also known as Mikey T, and Gingy.
Or Gingerman Franklin.
Or Gingerman Franklin,
Or
or
Gingerbread Man.
the Gingerbread Man, or
we can keep
Ginge.
going and going
There's
and going.
there's a lot of lists of
there's a
nicknames
lot.
here. Over here we've got Mike, Mikey T, and Miguel.
Where did Miguel come from?
You know, I don't know. I heard Josh call you a few times, Miguel, and then you answered
I'm
it,
like, why is this happening?
but you always answered to it. So
Yeah,
I
know
just
what it means.
I just assumed for the longest time that it was just an ongoing nickname between you and Josh because you've always answered to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
So anyway, these two guys are some of the biggest backbone here at Order 66 Toys. These guys help make everything run. Gingy over here oversees our inventory stock throughout the store, as well as helping with shipping a lot. While
And Instagram.
And Instagram,
And
yes, that's
Instagram.
right. You run the Instagram pages of Order 66 Toys and Bay 12
Bay
Toys,
12.
which doesn't have a storefront, but we have an online presence, which is nice. While Mikey T helps run Bay 12 Toys, but also
in on that.
floats around Order 66 Toys and just does everything with us. He helps film with a lot of the live content. He helps do most of the reviews with me now.
Yep.
So anytime we're doing a Bay 12 or Order 66 toy review, odds are it's usually Mikey T holding the camera, actually. Sometimes it's Gingy.
Yeah, but then you can tell when it's me.
We know when it's you because you're really shaky with
Yeah.
the cam.
I'm just as shaky, but I'm getting a little better, I think.
You're not as bad as I am.
That's true.
No,
That's
no,
true.
I've gone back and watched videos where I'm holding them like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So Kirk is right.
Kirk is right.
Kirk is right.
Kirk Schmitty, the art director, yep. Who's also not here right now, but hopefully we'll get to talk to him here in a little bit too.
Who started the food challenge?
Who started the food challenge
Who
thing?
started the food challenge? That was me and Josh.
Yeah, that was him and Josh. And
Yeah.
it also kind of started with me, where it started, the first one we did was I had to eat 6 Hot Pockets, which was nothing, by the way, in a span of 30 minutes. I did it in 10.
But then you moved on to bigger challenges.
Yes, then we moved on to bigger challenges. We tried dehydrated pork, which did not go super well. I stopped after like 2 or 3 spoonfuls.
Yep.
And then we did the Big Kahuna challenge from
Which was not
Arby's. Yeah, we did not video
goodness.
that one. That one
I
was
missed that one.
rough.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, you weren't there.
It was
But
real bad.
that one was hard to get through, and that one, I did succeed though.
Yeah, and
I had to eat 3 of them in like 45 minutes.
they're like burgers this big.
Yeah, sandwiches this big with chicken patty, ham, turkey.
All the meats.
All the
It's
meats.
Arby's.
Arby's has the meats. Yeah.
And what was you did
The Hot Pocket challenge.
we already did
Yeah, that was the first one. And then,
But also, when you were doing that,
yes.
Gingy was doing some sort of wrestling thing, and that was funny. What was he doing?
Oh, yes, that's his other persona, Macho Man Gingy Savage.
Who's that?
That's the guy from Bay 12.
Oh, okay.
That's the other version of you. Yeah.
Wait, there's not a version of me?
Yeah, we also have other personas. So there's the Order 66 guys, but there's also the Bay 12 guys. We call them the Upside Down Boys. That's right.
Heck, bamboozled.
Who are the Upside Down Boys?
So they're like us, but they're at Bay 12.
Because you got Robbie.
That's right.
You got Robbie, which
You
is
got Mikey
the other
T.
me. You've got Mikey T also,
You
which
got-
is you.
Tim.
And Tim, there's another Tim, and there's Macho Man Gingy Savage
Let's pretend
there.
this is Tim for now. Is that right?
No, it's not. Oh, you mean your hand?
Oh, your
You
hand.
just need some eyes, but you know, just, okay.
Okay.
We
yeah.
got a hat somewhere.
I'm not sure that'll work, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's here in spirit.
He is here in spirit.
Catch.
Don't throw that. Oh, he threw it.
Oh, he caught it.
You did.
For the first time ever.
Oh, okay. I better catch that.
Yeah, you
Yep.
better catch that one. So now what?
I don't
This
know.
is just like the other night when we went to the wrestling and somebody hands me a weapon.
Oh, right. Yeah. So we went to see All Elite Wrestling live while they were in Garland last week.
Yeah.
And
Josie's
Josh's daughter, Josie, his oldest daughter, she had her pocket knife with her going into a big sporting event. And she was right as we're at security, she goes, "Oh, hey, what should I do with this?" While we're standing in security to get in. And Josh is like, "Why did you bring that?" So she hands it over to Mike, thinking he's going to figure out some magic. So we ended up just giving it to the security people and like, yeah, we don't want it back. It's fine.
It would work in Mike's jacket.
That's true. They didn't even check his jacket, which is all studded out with metal bits. He walked through knowing it was going to go off, and they were like, yeah, we can see you're fine.
Guard looked right at
So ultimately, we could have just hit it in his jacket, and it would have been fine, but we did the honest thing, of course.
Like remind me of an interview with a boy band.
Yeah. Don't they kind of like that? Though?
We're not near attractive enough to be in a boy band.
Speak for yourself, man. I'm pretty hot.
A lot of people don't know Josh's backstory. So Josh is actually a cancer survivor. He had esophageal and stomach cancer, probably from about the age of 10 to 18.
I was very sick. Barrett's esophagus. Was told that if I didn't get my diet under control to where I could actually swallow food, I wasn't going to be around for another 6 months. Fast forward to adulthood, I had worked for Walmart as a district merchandising director for 8 years, and I started feeling sick again. I was having a hard time keeping food down, and I couldn't sleep, and I was working, 60 to 80 hours a week, opening up new stores, and I had gone through all kinds of training and merchandising and marketing courses and all kinds of stuff like that.
When I got out of the service, Josh lived here in Texas and was basically expecting my first granddaughter. And Josh wasn't working at the time.
My father had retired. He just says, he calls me one day and he goes, "So I need you to meet me at this address for lunch." So, okay, no problem. So I go down to downtown McKinney, and he is pointing across the street as I walk up, and I'm like, "What? What's across the street? It's just an antique store. What am I looking at? Is there something in there we need to go and check out?" And he pulls out these keys and tells me to turn around, and we had bought a building in downtown McKinney. Had no idea what we were going to do with it. Got a bunch of my friends from high school and college, guys that I had grown up with out here in Texas, and one of them was a carpenter, one of them's does drywall and electric work, and we basically refurbished the entire building, and we tore everything down and redid it, and was open in 9 days. So what lot number is this again?
This is lot 32, and there's only up to
100.
well, no, because we
There's like 90 something left.
there's like 90 something left now.
Yeah.
So
The first claim gets the earliest number.
Yes.
We're going to be starting at number 3.
starting at number
1 and 2 have been sold. First one that's going to be out the gate is going to be number 3. They are limited editions. It is part of Star Wars history, and they're super cool.
In addition to that, guys, we also have all these awesome prints.
Yeah, this is me. This is me with Chukatron when he died. So this is a scene from his death. This is a scene that George Lucas directed. Right here, this shot is taken from the scene. They put me on a platform, even though right now in this scene we're supposed to be at the Gorax Castle, and I'm shaking the stupid rock that dummy me didn't take. This was still shot at ILM, and they put me on a platform, and George directed this scene.
So they just filmed the sky in the,
The
background.
sky, exactly.
So what lot numbers is this? Lot 34? And these come signed, guys.
They come signed, yes.
Lot 35?
Lot 35 is, it's all of us looking at the Gorax fall after I killed him.
There's a lot of fun stories, I guess, but you know, we're the show within a show. You know, it's a very adult kind of show essentially, but we're the sort of the kids' puppet show that his character creates. So we get to work with Jim a lot within that part of the show, and it's just really fun. I mean, we all work really hard. You know, there's a lot of stuff to cram into that episode. So I think each season is 10 episodes. But I just marvel at how Jim is so collaborative and helpful towards us all. And he's so smart because he's not only has he got to take care of his own character and his lines of dialogue and songs sometimes, but he's also looking out for all of us and making sure the puppets look good and sort of helping co-directors in those areas, which is wonderful, you know. But there was one time in the first season where during one of the songs his head pops out of a silver platter, you know, with an apple in his mouth, and they cut a hole in it for his head to come through. And my character, the chef, secret chef he's called, he's got this big white hat, chef hat on, and he was supposed to come in and sing his line in the song, lift up the lid off the server, and Jim would be in there and pop the apple out, and that was it. And then during the series of takes, I think someone said, "Oh, and then slam the lid back on his head real fast again."
Oh no!
And I was like, "Okay, I hope I can do this." And so without practicing, you know, we did another take, and then when the line was done, and bang! And of course I missed and hit him on the head with this silver dome. And I thought, oh no, I just got Jim Carrey in the head. So, you know, my career's over, he's going to get mad at me and stuff. And I said, oh, I'm so sorry, because it felt really painful to me on this end of it, you know, because I slammed it
So
down
it had
hard.
to be painful for him.
It had to be. And he said, why'd you stop? Why didn't you keep going, man? You should keep going, man.
It's probably the head on the head that was talking.
It could have been, yes. Well, maybe it wasn't even him, maybe it was a puppet head.
Alright, I already know you get asked this a lot, and I gotta ask because they're gonna want me to ask. What was it like in the suit, and how hot was it? And of course, I know it was probably like standing in a big rubber oven the whole time.
It was a latex oven, and I couldn't. Once the mask was on, my peripheral was off, and they had footsteps drawn out to follow. I guess the camera, because I couldn't see the camera.
Right, and I imagine it's hard to walk in front of you because you can't see down either.
Well, I couldn't see down, and then they would put a blow dryer in my mouth to cool me down, and then I would take the mask off, and the top just to cool down, but the bottom was like Humpty Dumpty. The cord would hold me up, you know. Well, after Dickie's story, it's kind of hard to tell with that. He almost,
Right,
you know,
he almost died.
Almost died. So.